Soleil, and to rise up and live a life that really thrills them. And I'm really excited because today I'm joined by my good friend Marina Banks. Hello, Marina.
Hi, Ellie.
Marina is in Spain, so we're juggling our internet today, and so hopefully everything will go really well for this conversation that we're having. And the reason that I brought Marina forward and interview, well, it's a conversation, as I say, really today, is because I've been really inspired by her journey. And as I say, she's living in Spain, she's a mum, so she's taken her children with her, some of her children with her, and I thought it'd be really interesting to find out how she's achieved that, how she's pushed through her barriers, how she's had to dig deep into her courage and empower herself to do that. So Marina, holistic life coach, and I'm sure she'll explain a little bit more about how that all fits into her move as well. So really big warm welcome to you, Marina.
Thank you, Ali. Thanks. Yeah, because I'm living up in the countryside in south of Spain. Sometimes the internet goes a little bit funny, so hopefully it will behave itself for this. But if it does go, you know why, because I'm in the middle of nowhere in south of Spain.
How nice. I've got to ask you first of all, what's the weather like today?
Well, you might not be thrilled about this, but I'm really thrilled that we've had some showers today, and I'm so happy because I moved here in November, and it's been a very dry winter, a very warm winter, which, you know, for some people on holiday it's great, but actually if you live here and you live in the countryside, we need rain for the water, for the trees. You know, so today I was very happy because Autumn said to me last night, my daughter said, I really want it to rain. I missed the rain. And I said, don't worry, it's going to rain tomorrow. And we woke up and it was raining and it was wonderful. I had no idea. I don't check the weather. I just had a feeling. And so now it's fitting again. We've got a little bit of rain. We've got heavy rain on Wednesday, and then it'll be sunny again. It'll be back to 22. But averaging at the moment, it's about 22 degrees. Normally very, very sunny.
Oh gosh, sounds like heaven, real heaven.
Not bad, is it, for April? It's not bad.
No, gosh. So yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself. So you're living in Spain, but obviously you haven't always been living in Spain. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Oh, okay. Well, where do I start? Spent a lot of my youth in London, and then moved out of London when I was 30, having 2 children, and I couldn't get my eldest, Tiger Lily, into a local school. London's crazy like that. We were living just up from Portobello Road. Couldn't get her into school, so we moved to Brighton, and we lived there for a while. And when I had my 3rd child, Autumn, it was winter time, and we wanted to go on holiday. And my partner at the time said, well, you know, we've got 3 kids. We can't really go off to Thailand or Cuba. So where should we go for winter? I want to get some winter sun. And I said, well, my auntie lives in Nerja in south of Spain and has been living here when Franco was still here, actually. Anyway, and I said, look, it's cheap, it's Spain, it's 2 hours on the plane. We can cope with 3 little children. And we came here for a 2-week holiday, brought his mum, and she babysat for us, and anyway, which was wonderful. And New Year's Eve, we go out. We were getting so excited that we left the house at 9:30. We got her looking after the kids, and it's dead, because in Spain, we didn't realize this, that no one goes out. The Spanish don't go out until the strike of midnight, and then they have these grapes, and they eat these grapes. It's a very strange tradition. So we're walking around this sort of ghost town looking for a bar to be open because we have no children. Anyway, and I get out and I look at my phone, and my friend texts me, Marina, I'm in Spain. And I said, I'm in Spain too. Uh-oh, here comes the kids. And she said, I'm in south of Spain. I'm in south of Spain. And I said, this is getting too weird. She said, I'm near Nerja. And I said, I'm near Nerja too. Sorry, that's my partner coming in. Anyway, and she said, come out, we're having a party. And she said, right, how to get to this place, to this valley? She gave me the name of the valley. You have to go past these wooden signs. Then you go past the burnt out car. Then you have to drive through the river. Bearing in mind, this is New Year's Eve, and I was just like, no way, no way. We didn't come and meet her that night, but New Year's Day we drove up this beautiful valley, past the wooden signs, past the burnt out car, through the river. We drove the hire car through the river, and we get to meet our friends. And I just looked at my partner at the time. I said, this valley, there's something about this valley. It is so special. It has an energy here that I can't really explain. And anyway, that was it really. We sort of fell in love with this part of Spain. So that was the little, I don't know, sweetener, I suppose. That was the sweetener. And we went back to England, and I kept thinking about this place, thinking, oh, I'd quite like to live here. And just sort of got over it really. And then, yes, about 9 months later, we decided to move out here. So that was a long time ago now. It was about 12 years ago. And so that was strange in itself, that we had 3 children, and people didn't really, you know, I had a lot of friends and family saying, oh, you shouldn't go, you shouldn't take the kids away from England, from English school and and throw them into Spanish school. But we did, and we were here for 3 years. A lot happened at the time. I ended up splitting up with that man, the father of my 3 kids. But the good thing was I met the love of my life. So I was obviously drawn here for a reason. And this week we're celebrating 10 years together, which is amazing.
Congratulations.
There was someone really special out there for me, but it hadn't happened. I had to wait until I was 35 before, you know, to meet him. But we got there in the end. So, but after I went back to England with my new partner, I was pregnant with our child. And we were back in England. I thought it was best to be back there and have my child there. To be honest, the Spanish medical system for me didn't really work. They freaked out when I wanted a home birth because I'd had my other children at home. And lots of reasons brought me back to England. And we've been back in England 6 years, yeah. And over those 6 years, and I was doing my, you know, coaching work and I'm a film chef as well, so I did a little bit of film work as well. But Paul said to me when Oka was about 2, so about 4 years ago, he said, I really want her to be speaking Spanish like the other kids. Yeah, the other kids speak Spanish. And he said, I really love her to speak Spanish. Maybe we can move back to Spain. And at the time I was like, no, we're not going back to Spain. No, 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 no. And then my daughter, Autumn, so she's the 3rd one, said, Mama, I want to go back to Spain. Spain's my home. I don't feel right in England. Very strange. So I really want to go back. I want an adventure. I want to be living by the beach again. And so she put that in my head as well. And you know, Jenny, lovely Jenny Harlan Khan, is that the way?
Khan.
Jenny,
yeah.
Jenny H. I can't. The name's quite long anyway. Yeah, exactly. I went to a day that she had in London about maybe 2 years ago, I guess. And we did this exercise, and one of my things is I seek adventure, and it really, I went after this came up, it was one of my values was adventure. And it struck a chord with me, and I went outside. It was in London, and it was in London where I used to live, around Portobello, near there. And I just burst into tears, and I just thought, oh, where's that Marina gone? Where's that adventurous spirit gone? Where, you know, I've got so bogged down, I suppose, with day-to-day life in England.
You sound like Shirley Valentine.
Oh. Yeah. And so anyway, and so it was in there, and that little seed just grew and grew and grew. There we go. And then in November, yeah, I can't really explain it, but it was all these little things, little signs. And I said to Paul one day, I think it was last June. I said, let's go to Spain. I have a feeling we're meant to be back there. So let's go on holiday with the kids. And we came out here for a week, and we said, let's just see how it goes. And we all loved it.
Yeah.
On the plane home, I had tears rolling down my face. And I thought, why is this? I didn't feel sad. It was just these tears just kept coming. And I thought, okay, this is big. This is a life change. Something's going to happen. And we came back, and I said to Paul, I think, should we move back? And he said, yeah, I'm up for it. And we said to the kids, are you up for it? And they went, yes. So we So we moved back in November.
Wow, that's an amazing story.
It's quite a long story. I don't know if that's really what you were looking for when you asked me. I went, oh, wow, okay, let's go over here.
No, that's great. And yeah, because I think, you know, what you just described there about, you know, when you went on that day event and you felt that, yeah, that there was something missing, that, you know, when you came up with that word adventurous. And I think for so many of us, we kind of, we're not really expressing the true potential of who we are. And sometimes, and I think especially when we're mums as well, sometimes, you know, we're so busy kind of taking care of them and pushing them out into the world to be who they, you know, who they're meant to be, that somewhere along the line we forget about who we are and what's important to us and what inspires us. And it sounds like that event really unlocked something in you, that, you know, your daughter had already, I suppose, opened up a little bit by expressing she really wanted to go back to Spain. So
yeah, and Paul saying, I want Oka to speak Spanish, and I thought,
yeah,
that'll happen one day. We'll just keep speaking to her in Spanish, and she'll get it. But of course, you need to be immersed in it. And with Jenny, yeah, that Jenny's day, it opened something up. And you're absolutely right, because you know I've got 4 children, and so of course I'm super dedicated to them. And what happened was it made, yeah, exactly that. It made me think, wow, where's my adventurous spirit gone? Where's, you know, always trying to please other people is actually detrimental, because when you look after yourself, I mean, obviously I look after my children as well, but when you do things that make your spirit really happy, then it has a knock-on effect on everyone and everything you do.
So this time when you went back, so how many years later is it?
It was only last June.
No, since you went before.
So we're back 6 years later. 6 or 7. 7 nearly. 6, yeah, 6.
So although you and your partner and the children were excited about the move, what about other people? What about your friends, your family?
Well,
what kind of reactions did you get?
Yeah, well, it's been a real mixed bag. It wasn't the easiest decision, because I've got 4 children. So Tiger Lily's coming up to 21. So she'd already left and was living in London. So she's already sort of free and out there. Django, my son, is 17. He's coming up to 18. And he looked at me and said, Mama, I'm not coming. And we were all really excited about, you know, moving back. And he said, Mama, I'm not coming. And I said, why? There's nothing for me. I don't want to be in Spain. I want to be in England. So we had a big thing, and you know, that was quite hard for me, because you know, it's one of my babies, and he just said, no, I want to stay in England. I want to carry on being here. So he's living with his dad, which he hasn't done since he was 5. So that was a big wrench for me. But I said to Django, anytime you want to come out, there's an open ticket. He's already been out here once, and I've been back to England twice since November. So we do, you know, we do see each other, but still, I guess it's good for him as well. I know it's good for him. And we speak because we've got internet, so it's great. We can speak whenever we want to. Yeah, that was a big thing.
So that must have been something that, you know, some people that might make them feel like, oh, maybe I should just, you know, stay as we are so that we, you know, all stay together, or, you know, or at least, you know, in the same country as each other. And so I guess you had to dig deep there to sort of to liberate yourself, to go and do what it was that your heart was being called to do.
Yeah, but something inside me told me it was good for him to spend some time with his dad as well. And I think for his growth, to let him go. And I know that he has changed as well and grown for the better as well. And he knows that he can just jump on a plane. We're only 2 hours away from England. He can come out whenever he wants. But that was a real wrench, yes. And I did get people saying, you can't leave Django, you're abandoning him. I said, I'm not abandoning him. He can come, he has that choice. And we worked it out. We worked it out together. I think it's good for him. And I also had a friend, I've got a Canadian friend called Leona, She was Leona Wallace, and now she's Leona Negar, and she is a self-love expert. And she said she did the same thing. She came over from Canada, and her boys didn't want to come, and she moved to Paris, and her boys didn't want to come. However, she said it's been one of the best things for them. They're older, a little bit older than Django was.
Yeah.
And she says it's been very good for both of them and their relationship. They're still great relationship between them. So we can't hold
a
on
really
to
beautiful thing.
time, can we?
No, not at all. And like you say, it's important for them to grow and to develop into who they're meant to be, and also model by showing that anything is possible, and
Yes,
following your heart.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I left home at 16, so I guess I said, why isn't he 18? And maybe he's and he's a grounded boy, and I've done the best work that I can with him. Being there the whole time. So yeah.
So before you went, what were some of the kind of obstacles that were coming up for you? What were some of the things that you were fearful about being back in Spain, or
yeah, there was a few. There was a few things. Well, I thought I had to sort of say goodbye to the film catering. Not that I did a lot, to be fair, over the last few years. I mean, I just thought, okay, well, they still know where to get hold of me. But if they want to get hold of me, I had a couple of sort of A-list stars, really, that I was personal chef to. And so I thought, well, they know where I am. It doesn't really matter. They can just email me and I can fly over to do that job. It's quite easy for me to hire equipment if I need to, or pick up or borrow equipment if I need to. And actually that hasn't happened, so that's quite an interesting thing. But it doesn't really matter. With coaching, I thought, well, I have Skype, so this is fine. When you've got a Skype, you can work from anywhere, and that's what I was doing anyway. And almost it's become better to sort of let go of it a little bit more. People have been contacting me to saying, can I work with you? And so I think in England, I felt the pressure to market, and to be in my office from 9 to 5, or obviously break when I go and get the kids from school, but to be in my office working. And here I am dictating the work that I do, the hours that I put in. And I found that very interesting, because I always felt a little bit jealous of people saying, yeah, well, I work 4 hours a day and I've got a thriving business. And actually I can see it now. You take your foot off the accelerator a bit, and rather than pushing, you're just receiving, and you're going back, and possibly the vibration that you're working at, you're attracting people because you're in a much more relaxed way, relaxed atmosphere, and that's what's happened for me. I said to you, mentioned to you earlier that I've got a raw food class coming up. And yesterday it was looking at 4 people. We had 4 people for it so far, and I haven't done any advertising. And this morning I put it out there and I said, well, I'd really like 10 people for this next class. And then I come home and Paul comes down and says, Marina, I've just had a message. Your class is full. We've got 10 people. I went, oh, what? And I've been contacted by 4 since. So they're on the waiting list for the next one. But it's just like, well, I tell you what's happening, Ali. You're really into this because you're into the law of attraction as well, and Abraham Hicks. I am manifesting like a ninja out here, and I don't understand how it's happening, why it's happening, but I get a thought and it seems to materialize, and I don't know why that's happening, except possibly because I'm in a happy energy. But I guess it's quantum.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're feeling good, then good comes to you, thick and fast. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's because what you're putting out there into the world is joy and happiness, and and you're actually asking for what it is that you want as well. So if you're saying you want 10 clients, and you're in that space of allowing and surrendering, and of course people are going to pick up on that frequency and they feel called to you. So you're like the lighthouse shining and they're picking up your signal and they're being guided to you. It's great. Congratulations.
Thank you. And very strange things happened. So it didn't really happen how I was expecting it to. I came back to Spain, and you were asking about the fears. There was a part of me that thought, what we can do for money? How is money going to come to us? And I did some really interesting work with a coach of mine. She said, why don't you, this is when we first moved here, and Paul was going back to England to pick up work. My partner was going back to England to get some work. And she got me to write down all my expenses. And I tell you what, it's a quarter of what they were in England for a start. And I was thinking, well, it's really interesting. I've never worked out the price of the gas bottles, because we don't have mains gas here, the fuel for my car, the food, So I wrote it all down. I thought, okay, well, that's my starting block. I need to cover that. And very easily, money was coming in, and I was easily being able to pay for my expenses here. I walked past an old clinic, my old shiatsu clinic, and the man who was in there, an acupuncturist, opened the door, and we start speaking in Spanish, and he says, hello, and I said, this used to be my clinic. This was my shiatsu clinic, and I used to teach yoga here in this studio. And he said, well, do you want to share it again? And I said, pardon? And he said, well, do you want a room? I have this room. You can have it for 2 months for free and just see how you get on. And Ali, I didn't advertise, and I was having 6 shiatsu patients a week without doing any advertising. Now, it doesn't sound like too many, but considering Mondays and Tuesdays are my mentoring days, that's what I do. I coach on Mondays and Tuesdays in particular. So I had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was getting 5 or 6 people without advertising. It was amazing, and I just thought, I like this. And there's something lovely about being back hands-on again after being, you know what it's like. Sometimes you live behind your computer, but for me that was part of, that's being part of my life for 18 years, shiatsu. Yeah. So it was really nice to get back in there.
Amazing, and doing it in the sunshine, and oh my gosh, do you feel like you've missed the winter?
Yes, I'm the winter dodger. I completely missed it, and actually it was interesting because we've had a very warm winter here, very warm. We haven't had as much rain as possibly we should have, but it's been, I'm not complaining really, because it's been lovely. Yeah, I don't miss the cold weather, Ali Soleil, Ali sunshine.
Oh gosh, I wish I was out there.
Looks like you've got sunshine there today.
We have actually. It is getting a lot of April showers, so it's kind of like a bit of a, you go out and you forget the umbrella, and then you're like, oh my god. So hence, yeah, it's good to have curly hair. Otherwise, So how do you keep yourself motivated? How do you keep yourself, so you're attracting all these amazing opportunities to yourself and your family, so what are you doing to maintain your energy?
Ooh. Okay, since I've been living out here, I've got a lot more into my practice, my exercise routine. So I exercise in the morning. You're going to really laugh. I was a yoga teacher. I mean, I used to teach here in Spain, and we went back to England, and we just moved house, and I had a 2-month-old baby, little Loca, and we had 3 stories, and I was rushing around like usual. I had socks on a carpeted stairs, and I fell the whole flight holding my baby, and I damaged my spine because I was protecting her. And the osteopath wrote me off exercise for 3 years. And then when I started doing it again, he kept saying, no, you're not ready, you're not ready. So I've started to, now I'm okay, 6 years on, I'm getting better. So coming here, I feel I've got more time to exercise. So every morning I get up, and I only do like half an hour, but it's cardiovascular or stretching or strengthening. So I get my stomach strengthened. And I still do my yoga stretches as well. I meditate and pray every day. And now that I've stepped up more, and I guess it's really easy to meditate here. I'm living in amongst mountains, and we've got a nightingale, nearby, so she sings every morning. We've got kestrels mating across the road. I mean, just looking at the valley, you don't even have to shut your eyes to meditate here because it's so beautiful. And we've got a river going through the garden as well. So you hear the river, you hear the birds, the sun shining. It's just beautiful. And so I feel coming to Spain, it's interesting that you say motivated, because I am motivated, but it's a lot more relaxed than I ever was in England. So I get a lot more done, but it's in a much more organic way, I guess, organic way of living. You know, I have my routine, but it's really relaxed. So I get up and always make my lemon water and green juice, but I do my exercise in the morning, have a quick shower, get the kids to school, walk the dogs, and come back and start work. And as I say, Mondays and Tuesdays are my favourite days because they're my sort of coaching days, my mentoring days. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I shouldn't say my favourite days because I love doing shiatsu as well, but I do my shiatsu Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays. I'm finished normally. Sometimes I'll take patients on in the afternoon, very rarely. Sometimes I have coaching in the evening, but very rarely. So really, a lot of my days are finished by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my working day. And then the rest of the day I have the children, but it's my time to be creative as well. So interestingly enough, I think my newsletters have changed since I've been out here, because I'm just talking about really what I'm experiencing here. And so many people have contacted me, Ali. It's incredible, asking me about my journey, asking how difficult it was to get up and move away from England, or to move country with children. It seems to be a big subject.
It's very inspiring. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And how have they integrated into school life? And Spain?
To be fair, I thought Autumn, her Spanish would come back quicker, but she's getting there, because Autumn was 6 when we moved back to England. She got here when she was 2, so she was speaking beautiful Spanish. And then when we got back to England, she refused to speak Spanish. She just refused, because she wanted to be back in the English system. So she's really happy. They're both very happy, because school for Autumn is 8:15 till 2:45, and have a really fun time. She's been on 3 trips to Granada. Granada's only 45 minutes away now. So, for example, she went on a trip on Thursday to Granada, to the Alhambra, which is the old Moorish palace. It cost €5, and I said, okay, here's €5. It was a whole day out. They get lunch, and the teacher said, oh, that's just for the bus. Like, that was it. We only had to pay for the bus. They've got funding now, which they didn't have before. So they walked up in the Alhambra, and they walked around the old town of Granada. And the teacher gives them free rein. Says, oh, well, meet us back in an hour so the kids can go off and play. And, oh, it's just beautiful. It's very relaxed. It's very different. Their schools are on the beach. So, most of the time the shutters are down because it's so bright, but sometimes the shutters are up, and so Autumn can just stare at the waves. And it's proven for kids, for their, because we used to get told off for daydreaming, it actually helps their studying if you daydream, because you're learning in a much more relaxed way.
Yeah, gosh, yes, amazing. It sounds like such I think, because when you're cold, like in the winter here, or even we're in spring, and yet we're still cold, and you kind of keep yourself a bit hunched up, shoulders up, you're a bit like you kind of keep yourself warm, whereas being in somewhere like Spain and the sunshine, and I can just imagine that your whole learning posture is going to be much more open, and being able to see, like you say, see the waves and going on amazing trips. It really is almost like a little mini holiday, isn't it? It's like the combination.
Yeah, someone told
me. So I was going to say, you said the other day that your daughter, when you picked her up from school, she just ran across onto the beach and then jumped into the waves. She took her dress off and just jumped into the waves. And
she's coming up to 7, And I remember being 7 and quite shy, but she's not like that at all. I literally picked her up from school, little Oka, at 2, and she just whipped her dress off, and she was running around the beach in her knickers, just running in and out of the waves, squealing and jumping up and down. It was a really beautiful day, and I just thought, this is really fantastic. This is our playground. And we've just put the big trampoline up in the garden yesterday. So they're down there playing outside. And what I want to say is that the kids are out most of the time. So it's the same with us. Like, you know, we've got a couple of dogs. We just love walking around here, the valley. And what's even better, as you can imagine, a lot of my posts around wintertime was avocados. We'd go for a walk with, and we would just get, you know, the fruit that's fallen on the floor, which is perfect, but the Spanish won't pick it up. In fact, a lot of the people around here, I mean, there are farmers, but a lot of the neighbours, they just leave the fruit on the trees, which is incredible. So we just, if it's fallen on the floor.
So you go scrumping.
You go scrumping. I hate wasting food, and there's amazing food. And you know, we're very lucky, and the kids love it. I mean, there's nothing better. We've got a carob tree opposite. You know, carob. It's like chocolate without the caffeine.
Yeah.
And you know, and we used to call it the chocolate tree for the children. It's a sacred tree, which is amazing. So you can just go along and just chew on the carob and walk along. I don't know. I just love it, and the kids love it. I think they love the freedom here. They make as much noise as they want to because we're out in the countryside. Less restrictions.
Yeah, it sounds idyllic. Keep seeing big flashes of your pomegranate picture there behind you. It's really nice.
That's a huge painting. Look at that.
Gorgeous. Yeah, gorgeous colours as well.
Pomegranates aren't ready October, November time. Yeah, that's another thing. So you're eating seasonally as well, which is really interesting.
Yeah, yes, and that must be more healthy, mustn't it? Especially if a lot of your produce that you're eating is coming from, you know, locally to you as well.
On our doorstep, literally on our doorstep, a lot of it, and
on your neighbours' trees.
On our neighbours' trees, around, you know, the ones that have just fallen as well. And the fruit and veg market we go to, it's all local food. It's all local. I won't buy anything that's from further away. Really, it's amazing. I'm very blessed.
So what do you miss about the UK, if anything?
My son Django is the main thing. Tiger Lily, I know my daughter Tiger, she's in India at the moment. So I mean, I always miss her as well. But yeah, I'd say family. And do you know what? That's it. I don't miss anything yet. We moved here in November, and I've been back twice as well since we moved here. I don't miss a thing. I'm super happy here. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Is there anything that you wish you'd known before you made the decision to go that you've discovered?
Oh, that's a funny one. Wish. No, I mean, the only thing, I would say the only downside to Spain, which is really minor compared with all the fun stuff, is obviously like the bureaucracy. So in order, I mean, it's fine though, you deal with it, but in order to, like, I've got a mobile phone, I wanted to get a contract. In order to get a contract, you have to get a Spanish bank account. In order to get a Spanish bank account, you have to get this ID number, which means you have to drive about an hour away, and sit in an office for 3 or 4 hours waiting for them to give you a piece of paper that you have to, and you have to pay a little bit, not much, but you have to go to a bank which is up the road because they won't take money. And then you have to go to the photocopy machine up the road because they don't have it in their building, whereas everybody has to do this photocopying. So there's the only sort of thing that really isn't like, oh, a scratchy head type thing. Like, you could be so much more efficient if you had these things in place in your own office, you know. And so that, but then that makes me laugh, Annie, because of course Spanish have that mañana mañana attitude. So why should I expect things to work like clockwork? You know, they go a long way around things, you know. But that's the only thing.
Yeah.
So maybe that, maybe some things are like Chinese whispers here, simply because it's not one rule for the whole of Spain. Whatever your mayor says in the valley, I mean, in the different regions, that kind of goes. And there's a lot of big families, like the mafia type thing as well. That goes on as well. But, you know, as an observer, as long as you don't have to get involved with it, you can just observe it and think, oh, that's the quirks of living in Spain, you know.
Yeah,
yeah. I just think there is an adjustment. Possibly, I wish that I had stepped up my Spanish. My Spanish is okay; it's all right. I get by. Possibly, I could have done an intensive course before I came here, but you know what? It doesn't matter as well. I can speak Spanish. I'm not fluent. I'm not bilingual like my eldest, my son. But hey ho, it'll come.
Yeah, it'll come back. Yes, it will come. So what would you say to somebody who perhaps right now is watching this, who's feeling like they're sitting on the fence a little bit? They've got a dream, they've got a desire, may or may not be to move to Spain. It might be to start a business. It could be anything at all. And they're going round and round in circles and they're trying to make a decision. What would you say to them?
I would really tell them to listen in. Hand on heart, listen in. Is that really what you want to do? And if it is, why are you waiting? Just get on it. I've never been a procrastinator anyway, but I really think, you know, this is your life. Like, what's holding you back? Who's holding you back? Normally you're holding yourself back. Like, you're making up all these stories. And I think take the courage and just go and try it out and see what was. Oh, sorry, my daughter's knocking on the door. Okay, I'm busy. I'm going to open my. I think she might need to go to the toilet. Hold on, she can't open the door, which is quite funny. You're hungry. Okay, that's better. That's better. That's my littlest. What a call. He's 6. I would say go for it. I would say that listen to that desire, and I just think on paper, Ali, we shouldn't be here, you know, like, because people were saying, you know, we put limitations on ourselves as well. We thought, oh, financially, it was a big step. Obviously, it takes a lot of money to move. Yeah, did you hear that? Can I have some of your raw cake? Yes, ask me while I'm talking. Yeah. So I can't say no. But yes, you can. Okay, so Valley, it's muy fuerte. It's really strong, that. It's raw chocolate. And a lot of family as well were actually against us moving at first. You know, oh, you can't do that. Oh, Autumn's 13, she's in secondary school. Oh, that's really bad. Some of the teachers, oh, this is a really crucial time for your daughters to be here. And I just turned around and thought, well, actually, I could listen to you all, and I could change my life to fit in with what you think is best for me and my family. However, I personally feel, and it was such a strong desire, Ali, that my life will be enriched by being here, that the children's lives will be enriched by being here, because they are able to learn. No, it's better. Have some of the cake, raw cake. So I think to be in a different culture, to learn Spanish, another language, is really important in this day and age anyway, especially in England, as we're so bad at learning languages in our schools. And I think, I know that our life has got better since we've been here. And I think just having more time so I can play with the kids, but having more time that I can dictate the hours that I work. I never thought that was possible. So I think when you really have a dream, do it. There's a reason why that dream has come to you. There's a reason why that image of that place, or even if it's a feeling. For us, it was just feeling. I felt like I want to be back in Spain. Spain inspires me so much. And I know a few people have said to me, Spain really suits you. Now, I know that ancestors, I know I have Spanish ancestors way back, obviously is why I got dark skin, and big hips. But, you know, I have obviously got a Spanish blood way back, so I guess that's the energy. I obviously wanted to be here for a reason and experience this. So I would say go for it. If you have a dream, do it. And even if you don't have all the plans in place, you know, even if you think, well, I should have £10,000 in my bank account, or I should have sold my house, rented my house, whatever, to move, or I should have the children, you know, no, it doesn't matter, just do it. I mean, on paper, it didn't look good for us to move. You know, we didn't have tons of money in the bank account, or, you know, we didn't, you know, it was like, well, are we going to do this? Yeah, okay. We didn't, you know, it's like, well, what have you got to lose? Well, come here.
You took a chance on happiness. Yeah.
It's a chance of happiness. And if it doesn't go well, good, then go back. You know, it doesn't, it's okay. England doesn't go anywhere. It's funny, when I used to live here, after 4 years, I went back to England and I thought, nothing changes. Nothing changes. It's England. It's still that cushion, like it's still there. It's easy to sort of fit back in if you want to. So I'd say to anyone, if they want to move abroad, just do it and go for an adventure. Just remember that adventurous spirit.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I guess, you know, you find that you've got that hidden depths. You've got, you know, more courage than perhaps you think that you have. You can draw on that whenever you need to. And it sounds like you've had to do that in lots of different ways.
It was really funny. That seemed to be a bit of a, I was going to say a theme, but so many people said to me before we moved, "You're so brave. Marina, you're so brave. I wish I could be that brave." And I'd say, well, you can be. You are. Why? There's nothing brave. I don't think it's brave. Possibly have a little bit of courage, but it's more having courage to listen to yourself and to listen to your heart and to your soul. And what's that soul telling you? What is that dream? Why is that dream there? It's there for a reason. So before, I think the dream to move back to Spain, interestingly enough, now I look back on it, was I was going to meet my dream partner, my soulmate, you know, my soulmate, the love of my life. He was here, and I had this desire to come here for a reason. It's like being pulled by an invisible thread, you know. And I always say to my kids and to anyone, like, if you have a desire to do something, just do it. Even Tiger, she wanted to go to India, and yet she thought, well, she's with the Confetti Crowd, which is a group of fashion bloggers, and they're really successful. And she said, oh, but, you know, if I go to India, then maybe Mama, I won't be able to do all this work. And no, Tiger Lily, go, because, and it has been so good for her, because of course more and more followers are listening to her and enjoying her adventure in India. And she's been inspired, you know, left, right and centre out there, as you can imagine. And Kat's just come to say hello. This is little Misty.
Hi, Misty. So what's next for you, Marina?
Oh, I've got some exciting things. Obviously, I have my raw food class coming up on the 30th. And I'm doing a raw... I've got a Facebook.
It's very hissy. Is there something hissing?
No, not my cat. Oh, no, is it okay? I have a Facebook page, Raw and Realistic. And because that's the way I live. I eat a lot of raw food, but I am realistic, and I'll have a glass of cava now and again. Well, cava here, champagne in England. And I have a raw and realistic Spanish experience coming up in May the 5th till the 9th. And I don't really call it a retreat, because to me that's a little bit virtuous, and I'm keeping it raw and realistic. So they're going to have a lot of raw food and yoga and meditation, and I take them out for Spanish tapas and everything. So that's coming up, and I'm really excited about that. I've got 3 lovely women coming to that. There is one space left. Ali, can't you come?
Love to.
If you were here. Anyway, so I have 1 space left, by the way. So that's coming up. And And well, I've got an event coming up in Ireland in September, which I'm really excited about as well, with Leona Nagar that I told you about, and Claire Douglas, and maybe Sophia Marsh, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she's coming. She's got to come away from LA. Anyway, that's coming up in September. So I guess, yeah, we're just
Lots of good stuff.
lots of really good stuff. Yeah, really good stuff. And I'm thinking about hosting VIP days out here. In fact, in Malaga, because Malaga's quite a cool town. The old town's beautiful.
Malaga is lovely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been to Malaga a few times. Sounds fabulous. So have you got a website or anything? So if anybody's listening wants to get in touch with you, how can they reach out to you?
Well, that'd be lovely, because I'm thinking also, Ali, because I was talking to you the other day and you inspired me. I might do a free call about the adventures, sort of like this, but going on as well, about the adventures and taking the leap of faith and just going for it. And that's what I'm thinking about doing. They can get hold of me, marinabanks.com. Very simple. MARINA Banks, BANKS.com. And yeah, they can find me there.
Lovely. Oh, thank you so much, Marina, for your time today and having a little chat with us.
Ali, as always.
And I'm glad that the internet has, it's bouncy here and there, but it hasn't cut off, so that's good.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Sometimes it goes out. It's obviously meant to be.
Yeah, so thank you very much, and we will speak to you soon. Thanks, Marina. Bye.
Bye,
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.